All right, Dixie, 6A. You know what this is. You know what you're going to say about it. I don't know if you want to get to it from the beginning or somewhere in the middle, because I know where I want to start. I want to start with the team that can't quite seem to get rid of Division One offensive linemen. Every year they have 3 to 5 of them up there, and this year they got, if you go through the Dallas Morning News top 100, 3 of the top 10 are offensive linemen at Prosper. That team's stacked on the line, but is my man Dixie going to want to start with the Panthers? I don't know. We'll find out. Tell me what you think about 6-6A, brother boy.
We like to start numerically in the campfire, and we usually like to start at the top of the district. When we're in 3-6A, we start with North Crowley. It's a logical thing. 4-6A, we start with South Lake Carroll. So I think we need to start with the Allen Eagles, just a little bit north of where I live. This team looks like they are ready to ascend back to where they've been in 2016, 2018, and kind of even going back to the Kyler Murray years. But there are some questions about Allen this year, but they got 12 starters that are going to probably be playing college football, and that just lets you know the depth that Allen has. When you have 7,000 students in your school, you're going to have some depth. But they had a pretty key transfer who is at quarterback in Jeremiah Dowd, who we were going to talk about in this insider as the McKinney quarterback, but as the world turns, he's going to be over there at Allen. And you and I saw him very first game of our year last year against Frisco Emerson, and we had some questions about him. But since then, it seems like he's settled in. He's in all the Elite 12 quarterbacks. He committed to Florida Atlantic, so I think that he is ready to take the next step and under with the offensive line, because last year we saw he was running for his life in that
Yeah.
game against Frisco Emerson, and this year he's going to be protected with that Allen offensive line. Maybe not quite to the extent that Prosper offensive line will protect, but I think he's going to be a little bit safer than he was at McKinney. Running back, you got Jaden Hambrick coming back, Lyndon Spriggs coming back at running back. That's 1,200 yards and almost 24 touchdowns between them. But the key for Allen this year, Ward, is their defense. Their defense looks as good of a defense as I've seen in a long time in high school football. Their quarterbacks, LeBron Bauer and Kai Wheaton, have 30 offers between them.
Yeah.
You've got James Roberson at DB, Japri Wafer. I talked about him last year at linebacker. He is a difference maker. Ward Allen is loaded defensively. They got some really good up and coming wide receivers. Caleb Smith has an Arizona commit. Josiah Johnson's got P4 offers all over the place as a freshman. Last year, he had 482 yards and 5 touchdowns as a freshman. I really like Allen. I got Prosper number two because, like you said, that offensive line. We talked about it last year when they had 6 offensive linemen who are going to probably be playing college football. Now we got three, but three really good ones in Zayden Crimpin, Bryce Gilmore, and Sean Stover. They got a really good defensive line too. Jake Johnson is an incredible defensive lineman. He's kind of in that mold of the Prosper big, angry, ugly kind of infrastructure that we talk about. They got their best wide receiver coming back in Lathan Latolis, who had almost 800 yards last year and 12 touchdowns. Braden Nimoff, he's back. He had 2,600 yards and 27 touchdowns last year, and
He's the
only nine.
MVP too, right?
Yeah, I know you
Tough.
like that touchdown to interception ratio. Really good linebackers, Kate Smallwood and Trevor Ellis, but there's some questions there. I heard they got a transfer at running back. We're gonna have to find out a little bit more about that, because that's really their question: is you got this offensive line, you've got a really good quarterback, you've got a really good wide receiver. Who is going to tote the rock for Prosper? If they can develop a running back, they're going to be very good. I have questions about the defense, Ward, though. I don't think the defense is nearly as deep as they are at Allen. So that's going to be a big question. So I still got Prosper top 10 in the area, but number two in the district. But after that, Ward, it opens wide up. There are a lot of questions. I think you could see any of the other teams making the last two playoff spots. I think you might know who I might be picking for
Right.
the one of the two playoff. But actually, before I do that, I'm going to tell you the team I'm most excited about, other than
What's
playing a
that?
week. It's a little bit down the roster a little bit, but I'm very excited about Princeton this year. Princeton
Okay.
is a team that last year, they took their licking. They got that 80 burger against Prosper against them,
Right.
but they got Marcus Flowers coming back this year. He had in only 10 games, because Princeton didn't make the playoffs. He had 3,200 yards passing
Right.
and 31 touchdowns. Jordan Mosley is also back at wide receiver. That's a 1-2 punch over there. 870 yards and 11 touchdowns. The problem for Princeton is when you're talking about all of these big schools in Plano, Plano East, Plano West, McKinney schools, these are schools with numbers and depth. Princeton, I'm a little bit worried that they don't have it. But Ward, a game I'm excited about now in week 1, West Mesquite versus Princeton, all of a sudden is now interesting to me because West Mesquite and the release of the Dave Campbell's Texas football is a state-ranked 5A team, and you got Princeton, who is a very hungry 6A team.
Yeah.
That can be an upset watch, and I think if Princeton can steal a win early against a team like West Mesquite, that would bode well for them to maybe sneak into a very wide open playoff spot. But in the playoffs in this district, I think it's going to be the two Plano schools. I think you're going to have Plano East and Plano. First time in a while that two Plano schools, if I'm right, will end up in the playoffs. I'm very excited about Plano East this year, Ward. There are some question marks, as always. Team speed is going to be an issue for Plano East, but we got Travis Agee coming back. That was my fantasy guy last year. He was one of the top running backs in the area. 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns coming back. You got Javon Rogers on the defensive side of the ball. He's already committed to Iowa in that Chima Chineke tradition. We got a new quarterback over at Plano East. His name is Josh Gordon. We call him JG3, kind of a throwback to the old days of RG3. He's only a junior, but I think we're going to see really good things from him. But Plano, who beat Plano East last year, sadly, has got some talent as well. They got Brock Schleff. And I gotta say it, Brock. Brock Schleff.
Brock.
One of the best offensive linemen this side of Prosper, and Allen, great center. They got Chance Cully coming back, who matched what Travis Agee did. He had over 1,100 yards last year and 12 touchdowns. C.J. Smith is looking really good at the quarterback position. Bradley Brown, the TCU commit at strong safety. They've got a very good. Yeah, they've got a very good defensive prowess back there. Braylon Alexander. I'm worried about Plano, but if you look historically, Plano wins. They beat Plano East, but then they lose a game or two that they shouldn't. Plano East wins a game or two they shouldn't. So, I'm going to give my edge to the Panthers right now. But I think Plano East and Plano are both playoff teams. But McKinney and McKinney Boyd are not too far off. You get an injury here, you get a starter who excels. You could see that completely flip over because McKinney has lost a lot. We talked about Jeremiah Dowd leaving. They lost to Pettyjohn, but they still got Sean Sherman coming back. They got Jydell Pearson at wide receiver, 350 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Ryder Soderman on the defensive line. But McKinney has lost a lot over the last couple of years, so I think they're going to be struggling. Same thing with McKinney Boyd. They got that new coach, Stu Johnson, coming over from Louisville. They graduated just about everybody, but B.J. Dixon in spot duty last year at wide receiver, he had 300 yards receiving. Caden Washington is coming back at running back, but there is a lot to fill for McKinney Boyd, and a lot to fill for Prosper Rockhill. You talk about a team that graduated just about everybody. This was the team that ended up at third last year. They had that very big win in week 11 to beat McKinney and actually vault up to number 3 in this district. They got Bryce Allen coming back. He had 460 yards, but they graduated their quarterbacks, running backs, a lot of their offensive line. I'm looking at Rock Hill and I'm seeing a lot of holes there, but their underclassmen, their JV were very good. So if they can step up, I think they have a really good chance to get into that final mix. And then we talked about Princeton, Plano West. I think it's just going to be on the outside looking in. Jordan Grant is a heck of a quarterback, Ward. He's going to be their quarterback. He's had some time over the last couple of years, but I think Plano West is still going to struggle with the depth of this district. 1 through 9, I got Allen number 1, I got Prosper number 2, I got Plano East number 3, I've got Plano number 4, I've got Rock Hill at number 5, I've got McKinney at number 6, McKinney Boyd at number 7, Princeton, even though they're my shocker team, I think they're going to be better and more competitive. I still got them at the bottom half of the district at number 8, and I've got Plano West at number 9. But Ward, 3 to 9, very variable. You could see a lot of movement between those 7 teams.